the number of streams, then you know that it is not ordinary. So we said now that this city is well quoted in the Bible and in the Quran, let us manage it along the word of God. That's why youth director, you are going to explain to us some of the things I've seen in your form, where somebody is asked, tell us, are you a female or a male? And then there is an option that you can say you don't want to say it. That's not a value in the Bible, that's not a value in the Quran, and that must not be allowed in this city. If this city is going to be called Akright City, that is not something allowable. Okay, I continue with the story of how the city started and what we wanted to achieve as a city. This city, we said we are going to attract residents of a certain polity. Let me tell you, I found when the offices were at Chirumira Towers. You know where it is? We say the people we want to attract to Akright City are likely not to come to Chirumira Towers to do the shopping, to do the buying of these products. We had to shift our offices to Impara House, opposite Kampala State Council, on top of DFCU, in the city center, good parking, closer to Parliament, offices of Ministry of Finance, Foreign Affairs. We were paying heavily, but we wanted to be at a center where we could attract the people we wanted in this city. The first residents, the first people to buy from here were those people who would have the capacity to be patient. The people who are coming today are the ones of Kabwirawu. The ones I want to buy a plot, build quickly, sell it. Those are Kabwirawus. Money-driven decisions. Ours was about building a city. And I told you we have more than 13 estates elsewhere. You can go, you will not find the same character here. Because this was intentional. So we said, let us aim at pulling people who are going to buy into our vision. People who are going to be told you must use Mategura, and he doesn't question. Why Mategura? Because it is known, at least for those who do valuation, that Mateguras in Uganda are considered to be superior to Mabati. Two, the only reason we insisted on Mategura was that it is what God had given us in terms of clay in our city. We did not have to go and beg others. That's not the way God operates. He gives you what to use to get what you want. And we said we are going to use the clay to get the Mateguras, and everybody here must use Mategura. One of the reasons we had to get trouble with Mavira, the lady, the first president, the second, you can say the second president of this city, was that she was starting to say that you can use Mabati because it is your land. These lawyers will also, it's my property and it's freehold. I can do anything. We said, you can do anything. Go and do it elsewhere. Why did you have to come here? Here you must follow the standards we set. Others, of course, we are stubborn. You must have seen those who have used black, and we call them black sheep. And you remember even in the Bible, Jesus had 12, one of them betrayed him. So we said they will be there, even in class. When you get 80%, you have passed with A. So if we do not get 100%, but at least we are not below average. So we said people who are going to come here should be of a character who can respect what we have said. That was the time when we divided the land into 12 villages and said 12 villages has a meaning. It is not from the head, it is from the Bible. The Bible tells us that God had told the people of Israel going to their land, when you reach there, you read Numbers 33:54. God is saying, when you reach there, like when you reach this Akright City, subdivide the land into 12 villages and let people live according to their tribal standards. That's what the Bible says. For us, we said, the tribal standard is not about Muganda in this place, Munyankore here, Mujus here. No. The tribal standard was People of bungalows here. People of mansionettes here. People, commercial place here. That's how we interpreted it. And God didn't say no because, I mean, the fact that it has worked shows that He blessed how we interpreted it. Sort of villages. And how are you going to name roads? Oh, we said no, we must name road. Oh, you should have been there. I want to name a road because I have lived here. I was the first. Mavira was one of them. This road must be called Mavira because I have lived here. This road, there. Oh. Anatoli's relatives are many. I also have many relatives. We could have chosen Kamukama Road, Kamujisha Avenue. Because at least all our relatives who could have had enough to pick their names to make our roads named after them. We say that's not biblical. That's not going to take us far. How about if Okero doesn't want to live on Kamukama Road? We miss him? No. How about if a certain name's history is not associated with positivity? We said no. And then we remember that every time Jesus was on the road, he would look at the tree and say, this tree has no fruit. That means do what? Curse it. Curse it. Then he's on the road and they are waving the palm leaves. And that means trees on the road. We said, the formula has been picked. Let us get all trees. And all names are named after trees and shrubs. And that worked. We don't expect anyone to change those roads. Because, you know, there are some people who are coming and they say, but no, of such of our size betrays us. They always want to find such of. Yes, there are some things we don't expect that the new leaders are going to change. Because it has a history, it has a background, and it has the idea of developing values. Because somebody is going to call a name of a certain Bisiaya man. That one is going to call a road after somebody who, no, but a tree is neutral. In any case, what was our tagline? Living in an organized environment. How organized? Straight roads, again from the Bible. How organized? The houses facing a certain direction. How organized? Not a school closer to a brothel. How organized? Not a mosque closer to a piggery. How organized? The recreational facilities closer to one another. Something like that. So when we had reached levels where people whom we had targeted came, we said, praise the Lord. They did not just come. There was also a formula we needed. We kept on looking for how to get these people to come. Number one, let us target people in the field of politics. Tell me, the highest level is what? If you are in the politics of Uganda, President. Thank you very much. Let us target the president to live here. And I'm sure you know that we have part of the president here. Let us go to the religion. The highest level is the what? Archbishop. How many bishops are in this city? Very many. How about in the army? Who is the highest in terms of rank in the army? Yes. You know how many generals are in here. What about in the academics? Who is at the highest level of academics? You know how many professors are here. They did not come by accident. It was by design. That when we bring a professor here, he's going to be followed by many of the academicians. When you bring here a bishop, he is going to be followed there by many of the pastors. If you bring here a general, the captains are going to come running. If you bring here, you get me? So it did not come by accident, it was design. there are things that define a city and that city becomes unique. One of them is what we call a golf course. The amenities that are attached to a city that is going to be powerful, one of them is called a golf course. And we had designed a place for a golf course. I'm sure you know that it is here. Yes. But it is also one of those that helped us to attract certain things. I should have told you why we started by calling it a city, not an estate, when I told you that an estate is that property owned by one person or one company, and it was built at once, and you remember that we said no longer an estate. But also, to call it a city was going to help us to penetrate the system of government. If it was an estate, we would never access the tarmac roads crossing. I mean, how can they bring it to your private property? But they can bring it to this city. So the one way of developing it was that we are going to tap into public resources. And to tap into public resources meant to think beyond the ordinary. Even for us to say, you come and manage with us, was to say, it is, don't look at it as a Kamukama, just a family matter. No, look at it as a community managed by great people. Imagine now, are you the 13th person or the 14th? Can you imagine 13 presidents all running successfully? Then you still call it a small, no, it's classic. And for that, please allow me, I ask Shaka to stand up. Yes, Shaka, the reason I'm asking him to stand up is, when I became the president, I appointed him to be the Minister for ICT and Communication. And we said, we are going to popularize the word Akright City, not Kapunguri State. And from that time, that was 2015, today these are 11 years, several of your effort. No one calls it Kapunguri State anymore. And that has helped us to attract as many developments, as many activities that qualify it to be a city. You would never go to MTN and say, bring what they brought us to an estate. No. So for that matter, as we think, as we plan, let's not plan in a myopic way. For example, that we want to do it as no. Look at it as a city. One day someone was walking around the building and he found people building and they were all still at this level. And this one asked, what are you doing, sir? Ngabuza omzimbi. No, I am laying bricks. He went to the other corner. What are you doing, sir? I am building a wall. He went to the other side. Yes, what are you doing, sir? I am building a cathedral. The three people were all at the same level, but their thinking was different, because for him, this one is thinking the only job he's doing is to lay the bricks. The other one, he thought he was only building the wall, but this one was looking at what he's doing. It is part of building a cathedral. They can't have the same values. They can't have the same energy. So when we are leading here, you are not just leading an estate, you are leading a city. Has population, the people. It has activities, commercial, industrial, residential, all these. So you are not going to say that I'm a president because I am looking at people and how many people are there. No, you also must look at how many jobs have been created in your city. How many vehicles pass through your roads. How do we look at making the whole city or to be put on the same sewage system? How do we light our roads to be lit? It cannot be done when you are thinking that you are still building a wall or you are laying bricks. It can only come when you think of it as a cathedral, as a city. I come to the end by saying, we are privileged that the people that came here, all of them, without exception, all the people, even those who are renting, they are at a level where once you tell them we want to build it as a city, they appreciate. None of them has a capacity below where he can appreciate that it is a city. So that was to do with history, to do with the setup of Akright City. Now I want to end by talking about where, as he comes in, where I would wish that you pick from me what, as you will also pick from him, what would have wished you to deliver. Number one is the word partnerships. What do I mean by partnerships? What do I mean by partnerships? I'll start by giving you the example of Anatoli and I in starting this. Anatoli is a fighter. He can say, I want to go through the wall, then I hold his hand, please wait. Partnerships. You drive cars. You draw a picture when you have an accelerator and there is no brake. Can you reach where you are going? Because there is where you have to apply a brake, where you have to apply an accelerator. Partnerships. Look at people who are married. The wife will tell you that, please, Neda, when you are, and then you see you're moving together. Partnerships. I want to call upon us that this city should look at partnerships. Or every time you are going to think of a program, a project, first think of partnerships. I became a president. There was this question of security. I said we can't deceive ourselves that we can manage this security of this city. Would be myopic. Instead, let's go to police and ask for them to establish here the system. And we started, we get the land, partnerships. We also had to get the plot from someone. Partnerships. And people contributed. And by the time Ora was coming in and the other one, the police station was brought in here. I want to tell you that you could never have done better security than having a police station here. Because whatever you do, you still have to work with them. Whatever you do to attract UN, which we attracted here, Mr. Kariango was my witness when we arranged and we brought UN people to come here and we do things without shouting. And this city now to be part of those to host the UN people. You would never convince them that you have a private company here running security without police. Partnerships. The other day I went to the town council. I met with the lady of revenue and the person of the engineer. I said, but do you really understand what Akright means? Or you ought to remember or to know. You might even not be privileged to know this information. But we wanted Akright City to be a town council on its own. And we pushed until, unfortunately, I realized that it was going to be a mess if we went that road. But we had reached very far, Ministry of Local Government. Until I realized that we were going to get into trouble of elections that involve house girls, border borders, anyone who lives around. You can only be voted, to be voted a mayor, everybody must participate. We had pushed. This was going to be a town council as Akright City. Until I realized it is wrong because we are putting ourselves a rope in the neck, because it is going to imply the voting is going to depend on numbers, not quality. Said, but it had already moved. So they still went on to do a town council, but this time it was for Kajansi, not for Akright City. And I said, praise God. We are going to remain with our governance structure where the people who elect our leaders are the landlords, not the people who are on the road, who will beat us in numbers, and they will bring us any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So I told them these two, the one of finance and the one of engineer. If you knew the story of how Kajansi became a town council, you would know that you have to listen to me. So they said, okay, now we are listening. Number one, show me anywhere in your town council where you have got a concentration of development like in Akright City. Show me where you have a setup where you do not have to first negotiate with the people to put a road. The roads are there. You only need to come and put your what? And then you earn money. How many people are paying plan fees? How much have you earned from here? I'm talking to the finance lady. It did not come like that. We arranged it. So we need to work in partnership with you. So the engineer says, I had asked him to be here so that he announces it himself, but I still can tell you what we came up with that is likely to help us. Number one, they are going to employ 2 people full time to work on our channels, the drainage. Wow. Yes. And the council pays. Because I said, we are going to start, we are going to work with the chairman. Every time we get the people who have started working, we establish how much they paid at the council. So that means we are entitled, ultimately we are entitled to part of that money. If somebody paid 2 million for the approval of the plan, what is that for? We are entitled. Partnerships. We are going to call upon our chairman to look for people who are working somewhere who pay what they call local service tax. And it is just taken everywhere. You know, many people are not conscious that the tax you pay as a local service tax at your job, it should be money to be brought to your home, to your village. So we leave it to go anywhere. Wakiso. No. Now we want to work with our chairman. And local service tax of our people all comes to Kajansi Town Council, but we follow it. And we say, we sent you 100 million this year. We are entitled to X amount. But starting point, 2 people, full time. Maintenance of our drainage. Starting this financial year. Wow. Partnerships was number 1, and I've finished with the first example of partnering with Kajansi Town Council. Not partnering with them as by the way, as a right. Not by saying, you know, no, that is not partnership. It is by right. Because I contribute, I need this service. Now, the other partnership formula is where people know there is a meeting which I enjoy. When a meeting of 3, I, me, myself, those are 3 people in one. I, me, and myself. It is a very good meeting you should always consider when you are talking about partnerships. Yeah? If you present the numbers, which we must present, that's why the picture I asked Alan to share with you, where has he gone? Is that we want to know how many homes are in this city. All of them. How many people live in those homes? All of them. Leave alone the figures we get from Ugos. This time we want to get them ourselves. So that when I am going to MTN, because I know the meeting of 3, I will say, MTN, these are the numbers I have. And I know you, yourself, and you you need them. And they are going to listen. Because the meeting of I, me, and myself will make them want to work with us. Don't go there and, Akright, we deserve... no. You go saying, for example, to Banabatunda Tankazama's Bevan. Like Preston, Gentex. You say, do you know how many tanks we bought from you? 1,000, 20,000. We need you to work on this road. Yeah. Me and myself is the best meeting you should go with when you are going for partnerships. The reason we brought that Chinese, the story is long, but one day I will tell you the story how we brought those Chinese there. It was strategic. Because we knew one day they will meet as myself, I and me. They want to use the road. I want to use the road to my office. I want to use the road to my office so that when you go to ask them, they are looking at me. I say, we should not go to look for partnerships when we are not with facts. Number 2, after partnerships, what I would like to call a bonus. What was it that I told you this time? When you are 64 years, you forget. So you will allow me to forget that. Beyond partnerships, what I wanted to share with you were 2 points. Partnerships. So once you've done partnerships, you will be able to get a... Okay. Thank you very much. So when we meet, sometimes we are about to fight and then we agree. Yes, I think there is not going to be many groupings working together like Anatoli and myself, because we know how to, next year we are going to make 50 years of relationship.
Wow.
What? Yeah.
Praise God.
50 years, because we met in 1977. And now, next year it will be exactly 50 years. So the next one is competition. When we created 12 villages, it was not because there must be 12. No, we knew that the only way to motivate people, human beings are selfish. God created us to be selfish. That's why when he had sent us off, he said, hey, these people have created them so selfish. What do I do? Let me put a commandment. Love your neighbor as... Hey, he knew you love yourself. But he said, you love your neighbor. So, because of that nature of loving ourselves, once whatever you are doing is going to benefit you, then you work so hard. If I always, we tease each other that Ashoka and Alexandria want to see which one is smarter, and in the process it improves. Our competition is not that of killing. No. It is about delivering. He used to be at a Catholic school and was at an Anglican school, and the competition was that no, they can't beat us, and so we passed. So in the same way, competition, Mr. President, don't kill yourself. You put competition. Just sit here as a president and appoint eminent people who are respectable. That we are going to check on roads. The dirty ones, we are not ashamed, but we announce that they are the most dirty. The most clean, you announce they are the most clean. Just that. You don't know the results. You don't know the results. Remember the ones we brought here. We baita mukachenchura, baita mukajejena, baita mukatsengeja. They all went to school. That means they used to compete in class. They used to compete in schools. That school, I was at that school, you know. Hey. Chigesa High School.
Namiliango.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you see, everyone wants to be happy with his school. Now that I know for sure, for without doubt, because that's the people we brought here. All of them have that background. They believe in competition, not the killing one. You are not banning so that Ntari becomes powerful. No, you read, study, and you meet at campus. So the same competition. So for me, I'm leaving you with two strategies: partnerships, competition. Once you have those two, you are going to deliver this city. And what is this city we want to see in 2040? Okay, 2001 we start. So 50 years from that would be 2051. What is that city we want to see in 2051? Because 2051 we shall be here, but towards going home. So we want to be old people. When we are seated, we see this is the city we really wanted to see. Number one, it will be a city that should be very clean, green, and organized. If you can just write that, and if it can be clean, green, and organized, that's what we wanted to do. That is the city we are looking at. Secondly, the people living there. We are hoping that on a Sunday, when you knock at this door, somebody will say, no, they are not there. Where are they? At church. On a Friday, we want to knock. These are Muslims. They have gone to the mosque. That is the city we want to see in 2051. That every single person has where to go and rejuvenate his relationship with God. Because that is where Abamasabo, yes, because now we have started getting people, but Amasabo Gawa and Ugoga are a bit modern. They are not the other ones of Chichikis. Yes. Yeah. So they are a type where also people can go and, but where has he gone with the day when we expect him to be consulting with his God? So if we can get those two, he's going to add on. But assuming that they were asking, that is what we would love to see. And once you have been a leader who has contributed to building that, then it will be fantastic. And this is now the very last one. On 14th July 2006, we hosted the President of Uganda here. To the surprise of many people, National Housing, which had been here since 1964, had invited President Museveni to their sites forever, and they had never received him up to date. For us, we had just started, but we still got him here on 14th July 2006. Everyone couldn't believe, how did you make it? We said it was about the right message we took to him. It was empty, only 8 houses here. But we wanted to show him how this city will be later. And on 26th of June of this year, 20 years later, we are inviting him back. If you are agreeable, Mr. President, would you want to host the President of Uganda on 14th July 2026? Wow. Celebrate 20 years.
Your presidency. Two presidents, one chance.
So you are going to get involved in preparing for the visit of 14th June 2026.
26th June.
When we are July.
14th July.
14th July 2026. When we are celebrating 20 years of his inauguration of this city.
And the invitation? Sorry.
Hey, we are going to start. Of course, we thought we could invite you so that you buy into it and we plan together. Why are we aiming at it? Even that time, it was about accessing public resources. You can't develop. There's nobody. Next time somebody tells you a lie, I can do my business alone. I don't need government. You show one single person who has succeeded without government. Show me one. And then I'll tell you a liar. The lawyers who work with the government are the ones buying properties everywhere. The doctors who work on government people are the ones whose hospitals are expanding. So don't tell me, or at least if they are there, let them be there for us. Let us aim at getting into the public resource. For that matter, we need to prepare ourselves. Hey. Remember, in the manifesto for the President Museveni or NRM, there is a word where he says, next time you are reading these documents, look for where you, I, myself, and I, and me, where you benefit. So there is where he says he's going to support everybody who is interested, who is working towards making other people become rich. I said, whoa! Ha. If I brought Shaka and he built a house of 200 million, now it is 800 million. That I helped him to become rich.
Absolutely.
Hey, so I can qualify to tap into the resource. Because when Shaka was buying his plot, he bought it at 20 million, now it is 250 million. Don't you see? I helped him to become wealthy. So now I said, Mr. President, by the way, we have tried to help people to become rich. So what was it that you had planned for those people? You can see, we went and convinced and brought and sold cheaply that land of Peps. Oh, if I told you the amount of money we sold that plot where he built, you would say, anyway, you have sacrificed enough. Why? Because we wanted to bring him so that tomorrow when you want, because in this thing of partnership, they must tarmac a road, one of the roads, or they must put street lighting. They must. It's not like we are going to. No, we go with figures and say, you, Mr. Peps, you have lived here. We have helped you to give you water. Incidentally, they are now going to be using water from this ground. That I picked from the Quran. Seriously. Where they say that the paradise is like that land where water comes out of the ground. And I went to there, I said, do you know you have enough water to feed your factory? So they are finishing their water purification system. No need to buy water from national water. But what does that mean? That national water will be enough for us. We are no longer going to compete with them. You see? So next time we go to them, now we are talking about Mpampu way. I have finished. Thank you.
What a wonderful.